Good morning, gang. It's Wednesday, the day after. Yeah, after all of the craziness that happened yesterday with Trump. And that isn't the only thing that happened yesterday that you need to be aware of in the this country is going down the toilet, but we'll start there. So everybody saw what was going on last night, or yesterday with Trump's arraignment. A lot of you guys, including me, watched his speech. I watched it after the live stream last night. It was kind of muted. You could tell Trump was pissed, but there was a lot that his lawyer said just don't say. So, okay, that being said. But there's a lot of interesting stuff in this debacle that is the Trump indictment. The first one being 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, right? And all of them say in order to cover up another crime. The problem is, nowhere in the indictment does it say what the other crime he committed that he was trying to cover up. So think of this. How do you set up a defense when it comes up, we're charging you with the crime? And your defense attorney says, what crime? The prosecution says, we're not going to tell you. Okay. We have a little problem here, right? Constitutionally. So what did Trump do wrong? Well, they can't prove it. They get, 34 times of the same count, basically. What's Bragg doing? He said, well, you know what? I know like 30, 32 of these don't have a chance in hell, but I'm just going to throw a bunch of shit against the wall to see what sticks, and maybe we'll get him on one or something like that. That's all he's doing. Remember, this is a guy who campaigned on, I'm going to get Trump. He didn't campaign on, I'm going to make New York City safer. He campaigned on, I'm going to get Trump. And George Soros, of course, wrote that $1 million check saying, let's go get Trump. Okay. I'm going to give you a little fact here, though, about what Alvin Bragg has done for New York City. The top 10, if you want to use it, criminals, most prolific criminals in New York, account for over 500 crimes, so 50 apiece, okay, in New York City. Alvin Bragg is so worried about prosecuting criminals that 6 of those top 10 are still on the street. So if you think about it, okay, 300 crimes in New York right now that the person who committed them is known are going unpunished right now, and those people are still out roaming the streets to go commit more crimes. I mean, mind you, it's 50 apiece, And I mean, this isn't, gee, he ran a red light, he jaywalked, whatever it was. These are crimes, okay? So you know where Bragg's heart is. It's like he has one mission, that is to get Trump by any means necessary and screw the millions of people that live in New York. You can just live in a cesspool. That's Alvin Bragg. Okay. The next funny thing about it was Bragg had requested the court to schedule the court hearing, for January of next year. Right in the middle of presidential primary season, right as the first states are getting ready to vote, okay? And of course, by the time the trial goes all through, you get to a nomination, and this is the plan. This is why it's political persecution. This is not prosecution. Because they're planning on how many people are going to go, well, I don't know if I want to vote for Trump because what if he's found guilty and is in jail? This all is, it's mapped all the way through to keep Trump from winning the presidency. Trump scares the living crap out of the Democrats, okay? You look at the other candidates who are running for the Republican nomination who've now announced. Nikki Haley, establishment. Asa Hutchinson, establishment. Ron DeSantis, I know some of you guys say he's establishment. Some of you guys say he's a MAGA Republican. Jury's still out, okay? We're still learning stuff on him. Mike Pence, establishment, okay? Washington wants their little comfy good old boys club, if you will, to continue. Yeah, so that was the first one that we pretty much all know about. Did you pay attention to what else happened in the world or in a country yesterday? Not good, or at least two of the three not good. I know it's probably a little late for people to say, okay, I'm getting out of this shithole state I'm in and go somewhere else. So if you've decided to stay behind enemy lines, that's on you. Okay, you've made that decision. Nobody's going to fault you for it. We get the reasons, but I just want you to know what you're in for. So yesterday was the runoff election in Chicago to replace Lori Lightfoot, Beetlejuice. And you had two candidates. You had the Bernie Sanders-backed progressive socialist Brandon Johnson running against the moderate Democrat Paul Vallis. Well, Chicago, get ready for more of the same, because y'all decided that Brandon Johnson is the future of Chicago, so he can carry the torch and take over right where Lori Lightfoot left off, because that's who you elected. Brandon Johnson is another one of those defund the police guys. So think New York crime. Hey, you got Alvin Bragg in New York. Well, guess what? Now you got Brandon Johnson in Chicago who goes, we don't need cops. Okay. We'll just community organize and that'll solve everything. Okay. Yeah. So you live in Chicago. Sorry. Okay. You live near Chicago. Don't go in the city. All right. Your chances of coming out alive are not good. It's not going to be too long before, Michigan Avenue looks like, high noon out in the Wild West. And it's like, okay, two guys just standing out there. Let's see who can shoot each other. And that'll just be a normal day. And the cops will be going, all right, taking bets. So that'll be it, because they certainly won't try to stop the crime. Let's go a little bit north from Chicago. Okay. Let's go to Wisconsin. Yeah, well, Wisconsin had a Supreme Court race yesterday. And Janet Protasiewicz, the liberal Milwaukee, it used to be the Milwaukee County Judge or something like that, or Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge. She's now on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. So the Wisconsin Supreme Court has now flipped 4-3 conservative to 4-3 liberal. Guess why that's important? Oh, there happens to be a bill on abortion on the Wisconsin Supreme Court docket that now all of a sudden we just went like this. So yeah, you want to go out and kill babies, Wisconsin be a place to go. Just saying, okay? Adding more progressives to the world. The one bright spot yesterday is North Carolina. And North Carolina has a Democrat, temporarily, lawmaker by the name of Tricia Cotham. Okay, she's a Democrat from Charlotte, who's expected to announce her decision today to switch to the Republican Party. Okay, now this is a Charlotte, big city, Democrat, going to become a Republican. Why is this important? This will give the Republicans in North Carolina a veto-proof supermajority in the state legislature, which basically tells Roy Cooper, who's the Democrat, we don't need you. Okay? And the Republicans can start putting through some conservative measures to make the state great again. Okay, get rid of this Democrat lunacy. How do we know she's going to do it? There really hasn't been a reason, right? But there was a interesting deal last week when Cooper had vetoed the gun law that had been written by the Republicans. And everybody's like, crap, we don't have enough to override the veto. So Tricia Cotham said, I just won't be there that day, which then gave the Republicans enough to override the veto. It comes to a point, guys, I've talked about balkanization constantly, and we're starting to see which ways the states are leaning. Illinois is a lost cause. New York is a lost cause. Okay? I mean, though, you might as well just make the capital of New York or the capital of Chicago Beijing, because that is the way they want to go. They want to be communist countries or communist states or communist cities, however you want to put it. I'm talking about Chicago and New York City, not the rest of the states here, guys. But y'all know that the way the big city goes in a lot of states is the way the state goes. You don't have any choice no matter. The rural voters, the outside the city voters, they don't matter. We don't care what you think is pretty much what the states say. Look at New York, Kathy Hochul. The majority of the landmass in New York is conservative, but New York City is a liberal hellhole. And so Kathy Hochul's like, well, we're going to pander to New York City and screw the rest of the people who live in Schenectady or Buffalo or Syracuse or whatever it would be. We'll make sure that New York City is the shining light, God, that's hard to say, of New York. The stars are starting to align, and you're going to see what's going to happen. Wisconsin, always pretty purple, tipping blue. Illinois, blue. Okay. New York, solid blue. New England, all blue. Whole Northeast, all blue. Michigan, hell, you guys reelected Gretchen Whitmer. How? I have no idea. Just be prepared, if you live up there, to be behind enemy lines. Because when the balloon goes up, and it's going to, because you figure this, what's going to happen next with the whole Trump case, it would not surprise me whatsoever if you see some sort of attempt on his life by some deranged liberal. Hell, you got to remember, liberals hate guns. They just love shooting people. Because, take a look at pretty much all the mass shootings in the last, 5-6 years. Liberals. You want gun control laws? I got a real simple one. Make it illegal for anybody that's ever voted Democrat to own a gun. That would be a good idea. But just remember, when you wake up this morning where you live, and either go, thank God I live in a state that's sane, or the other comment is, the hell am I doing living here? Are my kids' friends in school that important that I'm willing to live like this? That's your choice. I can't make it for you. I can ask, I can beg, I can try to entice whatever I can. But, guys, there's a reason people are leaving California, leaving New York, leaving Illinois in droves. Now you're going to start seeing it happen in other states, too. And I care less if they all wind up a barren wasteland. Just let the liberals eat each other alive in there. Because as much as they all love socialism, as Margaret Thatcher put it, eventually you run out of other people's money. And then I want to see what they're going to do.